so excited to be here in this virtual room with full of diverse people all over the planet. And I'm also very excited because this is the coming together of two of our most important grantees. So both the Microbiota Vault and the Microbiota Vault International Forum have been supported by C-RAVE, and I'm very happy to see these two entities collaborate. And in the previous talk, you already laid a little bit the ground to talk about, how is this all funded? And just to give you an overview of what I'm going to go through in the next 10 minutes. First of all, very briefly, who is C-RAVE Foundation? Then how did we get engaged with the Microbiota Vault initiative? And then finally, what's the role of foundations or philanthropy in the initiative more broadly? So first of all, who is C-RAVE Foundation? So we're an international nonprofit foundation with bases both in Switzerland and Jersey. And the foundation's name sounds almost like rave on a lake, the sea rave. But if you read it inversely, you will recognize this is our founder's wife name, Eva Rees, who you can see here pictured next to our founder, David Rees. Sea Rave was really built on two patient stories in the meantime, initially on the one from Eva Rees, who was diagnosed with stage 4 melanoma prior to immunotherapy, and later also to the unfortunate patient journey of Jonas, who's the husband of the daughter of David, called Elizabeth, who unfortunately passed away only 18 months later, while we can be very happy to say that Eva is still around here. And it's really both Eva and Jonas's experience that inform every aspect of our mission and driving us forward with a lot of urgency. Our scientific focus based on these family journeys, which I won't go into detail in this short amount of time, but there was a conviction of the family that, the finding that there are essentially 100 times more genes living in and on you than you have your own human genes clearly has to have an important role in the anti-cancer tumor immune response. And so since the beginning, the foundation has essentially looked at nutrition and other microbiome modulators in how those interact with the microbiome, what sort of metabolites and proteins that will create to then drive the immune system either towards a tumor regression or tumor progression setting. And what we've done in all these years, so we are actually turning 10 next year. So we've been around for 9 years now. We're on one hand a funding body, so we think to fund some of the leading scientists and innovators in this space, researching this microbiome, cancer, and the immune axis. But we also think that we have an important role in convening experts from disparate fields of science and medicine, because as you know, people still very much work in silos, not only geographically, but also in terms of mindset and focus. And as a neutral foundation, we really try to get all these brains together so that we can move forward faster jointly. And so how did we initially get engaged with the Microbiota Vault initiative? This takes us back to Banff in Canada in 2018. It was a wonderful conference. Some of you might have been there before as well. One of these early microbiota conferences that at least I joined. And my first message of what the role of foundations can be within such initiatives is really be close to the science, because the microbiome field is still, relatively speaking, in its infancy, and foundation needs to be close to the science to truly appreciate the importance it may have in the decades to come. In other words, if you want to have significant impact, you really need to leave your ivory tower, as sometimes we say, and get your hands dirty. And we try to do this by remaining very close to the scientists and innovators across the globe, as indeed I was doing there in Banff. And so here I was in Banff listening to all kinds of really interesting science. And it was actually because I did a vaginal microbiome transfer to my first baby boy, Finn, who was born by emergency C-section just a few months before I went to this conference. I was very happy to see Professor Gloria, who I call her by now, who in my view, was one of the pioneers in vaginal swabbing, and I met her in the hallway over coffee. And so we started chatting, and Gloria, of course, threw many brilliant ideas to me. And one, however, stuck really the most to me, which at the time didn't necessarily have this specific name, but was this idea that the microbes are under threat, such as many or essentially all our ecosystems globally. And of course, when thinking again about this axis that we're working on, we understood immediately that, well, it would be really unfortunate for C-RAVE to invest a lot of time and energy if the underlying genetic resource would be lost. And so an important point here to add is that for many people, somehow it seems abstract, like, how can microbial biodiversity that is then saved in freezers be actually lost? And I think it's worth mentioning that there's many examples. I mean, just Google a little bit freezers, disasters, and you'll find really interesting articles. Storm Hurricane Sandy in 2012 devastated many collections in New York City. Something similar happened at the Swedish university through an electricity outage. Earlier in this summer of this year, a very unfortunate happening at the Weizmann Institute, at some of our grantees as well. It's hard to see, but indeed these are, freezers in the middle of rubble. And even more common possibly is change in leadership of strategy of certain institutions, which often means, no more space for certain collection, electricity is taken out and samples are thrown away. Now, the next question that we need to answer as a field collectively, especially to the lay people on the ground, is why should we actually care about losing some of this microbial biodiversity? And I try to simplify this a little bit, first of all, into who am I? And I would have examples here for all these different axes. Where do I live? So obviously you guys all know bacteria are all over the place. This specific example here I chose is Bifidobacterium infantis, who lives in the human infant intestine especially. Then this question, why am I threatened? I think there's on the soil and fermented food side, especially changing agricultural practice, climate change, obviously, when it especially comes to things like a glacier microbiome. For Bifido infantis, it's mainly changing dietary habits and food processing and urban lifestyles such as antibiotic use and C-sections. And then ultimately, from an almost selfish perspective, why should you care that these bugs that are invisible to all of us are lost? And there's many important functions. Again, most of you probably know better than I, but in the case of B. infantis, it's very effective at boosting and setting your immune tonus. It also helps you produce vitamins and short-chain fatty acids, and so can support your nutritional uptake. But then there's also other environmental bugs that we might think less of that help decompose CO2 or methane, help fight climate change, have genes to support novel materials. And it's all of these things that are really at threat. And so how can we as Foundation and Philanthropy help moving this initiative forward? So first of all, we are there, to help de-risking this initiative so that there is sufficient substance there to get larger funding entities on board who might be a little bit less risk-taking. Secondly, you might think of mainly funding when it comes to philanthropy and donors, but we also, and not only us as C-RAVE, but the other funders who came on board with the initiative are very active partners who really contribute beyond financials in terms of time, their network, and really valuable input. And as you've previously heard, the vote already went through theoretical feasibility in the early years of 2019 and 2020. Thanks again to the help of many donors. And then, as you just heard, around the launch phase, again, this concluded from our perspective very successfully and essentially hit all the goals that were promised at the beginning. And so we're very happy that this was also published recently very successfully in Nature Communications. Of course, there remain very important hurdles for the initiative. As you know, there's at the beginning a vision, and this vision needs to be turned into reality. There's many issues that need to be tackled: lack of political will, fundraising issues, lack of global collaboration, competitiveness of science, ethical, legal questions, technical questions, and many more. At the same time, we can't solve all open questions at the very beginning, and need to believe in the underlying vision and support it with all the force we have. And finally, as I mentioned before, foundations donors should offer neutral platforms so that we can bring the different stakeholders together, be it local collections, politicians, researchers, innovators, because ultimately you need all of the diverse backgrounds and brains to make such a meaningful and ambitious initiative work. And that's just a summary of this, which you can rewatch online. I'm not going to go through this. And just as a essentially call for action, if anyone is there who has any links to donors, foundations, of course, as Gloria just mentioned, the initiative is now moving towards a next growth step. And of course, more supporters are needed to make this happen. So don't hesitate to reach out either directly to us or Gloria or anyone else in the team. Thank you very much for your attention. And with that, I'm closing.